A man slept in a Walmart parking lot for 243 consecutive nights. His only companion was a 12-pound orange cat named Sergeant. The cat refused to leave his side even when temperatures dropped below freezing. Every single morning, the cat would wake him at exactly 5:45. Military precision burned into muscle memory. But here's what nobody could explain. On night 244, everything changed because of a crumpled receipt the cat knocked onto the floor. A receipt that revealed something the veteran had been paying for 8 months. Without realizing it, subscribe right now and hit that like button because what you're about to hear will change how you look at your own bank statements forever. Drop a comment telling me what city and country you're watching from. This is the story of Marcus Chen. Marcus was 32 years old, a former Army logistics specialist. Honorably discharged after 7 years of service, he came home to Seattle in late March with $2,000 in savings, a duffel bag of clothes, and absolutely zero plan for what came next. His parents had passed away while he was overseas. The family home had been sold to cover medical bills. No siblings, no close relatives, just him and the weight of starting over. He found a small studio apartment listed for $900 a month, first month, last month, and security deposit, $2,700 total. He was already $500 short before he even signed a lease. So Marcus made a decision that felt temporary at the time. He would live in his truck for just a few weeks, save up the difference, find a job, get back on his feet. That was the plan. But plans and reality are two very different things. Marcus applied to 47 jobs in the first month. Warehouse positions, delivery driver roles, anything that matches logistics background. He got 3 interviews, 0 offers. Every rejection email felt like another door closing. He tried to stay disciplined. He would wake up at dawn, drive to the gym for a $7 day pass, shower, shave, and spend the day at the public library applying for work. At night, he would park in different locations: Walmart, Home Depot, 24-hour grocery stores, places where a truck sitting overnight would not raise suspicion. He kept his belongings organized in plastic bins. He rationed his food. He tracked every dollar. Military discipline applied to civilian survival. Then one afternoon in early April, Marcus was sitting outside a coffee shop when he heard a sound. A soft, persistent meowing coming from under a parked car. He crouched down and saw a skinny orange tabby with matted fur and scared green eyes. The cat was shaking. Marcus had never owned a pet, never even thought about it. But something about the way that cat looked at him made him reach out his hand. The cat hesitated, then slowly walked forward and pressed his head against Marcus's palm. Marcus bought a can of tuna from the convenience store next door. He opened it and set it on the pavement. The cat ate like he had not seen food in days. When Marcus stood up to leave, the cat followed him all the way to his truck. He opened the door and the cat jumped right in, curled up on the passenger seat like he had been waiting for this exact moment his entire life. Marcus told himself it was temporary. He would take the cat to a shelter in the morning, find him a proper home. But that night, when the temperature dropped and the inside of the truck became cold and silent, the cat climbed onto Marcus's chest and started purring, a sound that filled the emptiness in a way nothing else had. Marcus named him Sergeant. It felt right. The next morning, Marcus did not take him to the shelter. They became a team. Sergeant would sit in the passenger seat during the day while Marcus drove around looking for work. He would sleep next to Marcus at night, a warm weight against his ribs. For the first time since coming home, Marcus did not feel completely alone. Weeks turned into months. Marcus picked up occasional day labor gigs, construction cleanup, moving jobs, anything that paid cash. He made just enough to buy food, gas, and gym passes. He opened a new checking account at a local credit union because his old bank started charging monthly fees he could not afford. He set up direct deposit for the few payments that came in. He tried to stay invisible, tried to avoid drawing attention, tried to keep believing that this was still temporary. But deep down, he knew he was stuck. The money was not adding up. Every time he got close to saving enough for an apartment, something would happen. The truck needed new tires. Sargent needed vaccines from a low-cost clinic. An unexpected expense would wipe out weeks of progress. Marcus started to feel like he was running on a treadmill that only moved backward. One night in October, Marcus sat in the truck with Sargent curled up beside him. He pulled out his phone and opened his banking app. He had $183 in his account. 8 months of living in a truck, and he had less money than when he started. He stared at the screen and felt something break inside him. Not anger, not sadness, just a hollow, crushing realization that he had no idea how to fix this. He was doing everything right, staying disciplined, working hard, spending almost nothing, and it still was not enough. Sargent looked up at him with those wide green eyes and meowed softly. Marcus scratched behind his ears and whispered that everything would be okay. But he did not believe it. The next morning, Sargent did something strange. Marcus was sitting in the driver's seat, drinking instant coffee from a thermos when Sargent jumped onto the dashboard. He started pawing at a pile of old receipts Marcus had shoved into the cup holder. Paper went flying. Sargent batted one receipt off the dashboard, and it landed on Marcus's lap. Marcus picked it up, annoyed. He was about to throw it away when he actually looked at it. It was from his credit union. A monthly service statement, dated 2 weeks earlier. At the bottom, in small print, there was a charge for $0.95. Monthly maintenance fee. Marcus stared at it. He did not remember agreeing to any monthly fee. He opened his banking app and scrolled through 8 months of transactions, and there it was, for $0.95. Charged on the 15th of every single month since he opened the account. $40 gone. Just like that. Money he did not even know he was losing. Marcus felt his chest tighten. $40 might not sound like much, but when you are living in a truck and counting every penny, $40 is 2 days of food. It is a tank of gas. It is the difference between surviving and sinking. He grabbed his phone and called the credit union. The representative told him it was a standard fee for accounts under $500. Marcus asked why nobody told him that when he opened the account. The representative said it was in the terms and conditions. Marcus wanted to scream. Instead, he asked if there was any way to waive the fee. The representative said no. Policy was policy. Marcus hung up and sat in silence. Sargent climbed into his lap and started purring. And that is when Marcus realized something. He had been so focused on surviving day to day that he never stopped to check if he was being bled dry by things he could not even see. It was exactly that moment when he started to do something different, something that would change absolutely everything. Marcus spent the rest of that day going through every single transaction in his account. Line by line, month by month, he made a list on the back of an old envelope. The credit union fee, for $95 per month, a subscription to a meal planning app he signed up for during his first week home and completely forgot about. $9.99 per month, a cloud storage service he activated to back up photos from his deployment. To $99 per month, a premium music streaming account he never used. $10.99 per month, a gym membership at a chain he stopped going to after the second month because the day passes were cheaper. $19.99 per month. When Marcus added it all up, he had been losing $48.91 every single month for 8 months. $391 gone, money that could have changed everything. He felt sick, not because of the amount, but because of what it represented. He had been so careful, so disciplined, tracking every coffee, every gallon of gas, every dollar spent on food, and the whole time, he was hemorrhaging money to things he did not even remember existed. Marcus sat there in the truck with Sargent on his lap and felt a strange mix of anger and clarity. Anger at himself for not catching it sooner, but clarity, because he finally understood something important. The system was designed this way. Companies bet on people forgetting. They bet on autopay. They bet on small amounts that seem harmless until you add them up. And people like Marcus, people who were just trying to survive, were the ones who paid the price. Marcus canceled every single subscription that night. He called the credit union again and demanded they close his account and refund the last fee. The representative tried to argue. Marcus did not back down. He told them he was a veteran living in his truck, and he wanted his $5 back. The representative went quiet, then put him on hold. 5 minutes later, a manager came on the line and agreed to refund the fee and close the account with no penalties. Marcus opened a new account at a completely free online bank. No minimums, no monthly fees, no catches. He transferred his remaining balance and felt like he had just won a small battle. Sergeant meowed as if he approved, but Marcus did not stop there. That night, he started researching. He sat in the truck with his phone, reading article after article about financial habits, hidden fees, and veteran resources. He discovered that most people, even people with stable incomes, lose hundreds of dollars every year to subscriptions they do not use. He read about banks that specifically target low-income customers with fees disguised as services. He learned about predatory overdraft charges that trap people in cycles of debt. And then he found something that made him sit up straight. A forum post from another veteran talking about VA benefits most people never apply for. Benefit programs that were not advertised, that required specific paperwork, that most veterans did not even know existed. Marcus spent the next 3 days diving deep into VA resources. He found out he qualified for a clothing allowance because of a service-related injury, $174 per year. He found a program that helped veterans with job placement and resume building, completely free. He discovered he was eligible for a small monthly stipend for education benefits he never used. Not much, but something. He filled out every form, submitted every application. Within 2 weeks, he received his first deposit, $174. It felt like a fortune. Marcus stared at the notification on his phone and felt something he had not felt in months. Hope, not the fragile, desperate kind, but the solid, earned kind, the kind that comes from taking control. Sergeant seemed to sense the shift. He became even more attached to Marcus. Every morning at 5:45, he would wake Marcus up. But now, instead of just lying there, Marcus started using that time differently. He created a routine, a budget, a plan. He wrote down every single expense. He separated needs from wants. He set a goal. First goal was to save $1,000. Emergency fund, non-negotiable. Second goal was first and last month's rent. Third goal was stability. He started applying for jobs again, but this time, he tailored every application. He reached out to veteran hiring programs. He connected with other veterans online who gave him advice. He stopped applying to everything and started applying strategically. 1 month later, Marcus got a call. A logistics company that specifically hired veterans wanted to interview him. The job paid $17 per hour. Not amazing, but steady. Marcus showed up to the interview in clothes he washed at a laundromat. He was honest. He told them he had been living in his truck. He told them he was ready to work. The hiring manager was a former Navy veteran. He looked Marcus in the eye and said he respected the honesty. Marcus got the job. He started the following Monday. For the first time in 8 months, Marcus had consistent income. He kept living in the truck, not because he had to anymore, but because he wanted to save faster. He worked 40-hour weeks, sometimes more, every paycheck. He split the money, 50% to savings, 30% to necessities, 20% to a separate account he labeled future. Sergeant adapted to the new routine. Marcus would drop him off at a friend's apartment during work hours. A guy he met at the VA office who also had a cat. The two cats became buddies. Marcus would pick Sergeant up after his shift, and they would drive to their usual spot. But now, Marcus was not just surviving, he was building. 3 months after starting the job, Marcus had saved $2,200, enough for an apartment, but he did not take it yet. He wanted more cushion, more security. He kept going. By month 5, he had $4,100 saved. He finally started looking at apartments. He found a small 1-bedroom for $850 per month. Older building, nothing fancy, but it had heating, it had a shower, it had a door that locked. Marcus signed the lease. The day he moved, Marcus carried Sergeant through the door first. He set him down on the carpet and watched as the cat explored every corner of the empty apartment. Sergeant rubbed his face against the walls, claimed the space. Marcus sat down on the floor and felt tears running down his face. He was not crying because he was sad. He was crying because he made it. He survived something that almost broke him, and he did it because a cat knocked over a receipt, because he paid attention, because he stopped accepting things as they were and started fighting for things as they should be. Sergeant walked over and climbed into his lap, started purring. Marcus hugged him and whispered, "Thank you. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for forcing me to see what I was missing. Thank you for staying." Marcus furnished the apartment slowly, thrift store couch, free table from Craigslist. He did not care that nothing matched. It was his. Over the next few months, he kept working, kept saving. He got promoted to a team lead position. Pay increased to $19.50 per hour. He started contributing to a retirement account. He opened a high-yield savings account and watched his money actually grow. For the first time in his life, he kept tracking every expense. He never turned autopay back on for anything. He checked his accounts every single week. He stayed vigilant. But here is where the story takes a turn, because Marcus started telling other people what he learned. He joined online veteran groups and started posting about hidden fees, about benefit programs, about the importance of financial awareness. People started reaching out, asking questions, sharing their own stories. And Marcus realized something powerful. He was not the only one. Thousands of veterans were struggling with the same invisible financial traps, the same confusion, the same feeling of doing everything right and still falling behind. Marcus started a small blog, nothing professional, just a simple site where he shared tips, how to find and cancel subscriptions, how to switch to fee-free banks, how to apply for lesser-known VA benefits. He wrote about his experience living in his truck, about Sergeant, about the receipt that changed everything. The blog started getting traffic. Other veterans shared it, then non-veterans, people from all backgrounds, who were tired of being nickel-and-dimed by systems designed to extract money without them noticing. 6 months after starting the blog, Marcus received an email from a financial literacy nonprofit. They wanted to hire him as a consultant. They wanted him to help design programs specifically for veterans transitioning to civilian life. The pay was modest, but it was meaningful. Marcus said yes. He kept his logistics job, but he started doing consulting. Work on weekends, teaching workshops, speaking at VA centers, helping veterans audit their finances. And every single time, he brought Sergeant with him. The cat became a mascot. People loved him. They would share photos, tell Marcus that Sergeant gave them hope, that if a cat could help turn one man's life around, maybe they could turn theirs around too. Marcus never expected any of this. He just wanted to survive. But survival turned into something bigger. It turned into purpose. And that is when Marcus made a decision that nobody saw coming. He decided to quit his logistics job and go full-time. With financial education, it was risky. It meant giving up steady income. But Marcus had learned something crucial over the past year and a half. Playing it safe does not always keep you safe. Sometimes the riskiest thing you can do is stay exactly where you are. Marcus gave his 2 weeks' notice. His boss tried to convince him to stay, offered him another raise. But Marcus had made up his mind. He had enough saved. He had a plan. And he had something more valuable than security. He had a mission. He spent the next year building a full financial education platform for veterans, free resources, step-by-step guides, video tutorials. He partnered with other organizations. He got grants. He hired other veterans to help him. The platform grew. Within 18 months, it had helped over 12,000 veterans identify and eliminate unnecessary fees. The total amount saved collectively was over $400,000. Marcus could not believe it. $400,000 that stayed in the pockets of people who needed it most. All because he paid attention to a $4.95 fee. Sergeant was there for all of it. He would sit on Marcus's desk while he worked, sleep next to his keyboard, occasionally walk across the screen during video calls. People started requesting that Sargent make appearances. He became part of the brand, part of the story. Marcus would joke that Sargent was the real founder, the true financial advisor. And in a way, he was. Without that cat knocking over that receipt, none of this would have happened. Marcus would probably still be working at the logistics company, maybe in a better apartment, but not doing something that mattered, not helping people the way he wished someone had helped him. But here is the part of the story that makes people uncomfortable, because not everyone agreed with what Marcus was doing. Some financial experts criticized his methods, said he was oversimplifying complex issues, said that telling people to cancel subscriptions was not real financial advice. Banks did not like him either. He called them out by name, showed people exactly which institutions were charging the most predatory fees. He got cease and desist letters, threats of lawsuits. Marcus did not back down. He had lawyers review everything he published. He made sure every claim was factual. Every recommendation was sound. He was not trying to destroy banks. He was trying to protect people. There's a difference. Some veterans pushed back too. They said Marcus was making it sound too easy, that his story was an exception, that most people could not just start a blog and build a business. And Marcus agreed with them. He never said his path was the only path. He never promised that cutting subscriptions would solve poverty. What he said was simpler. Pay attention. Know where your money goes. Do not let systems take advantage of your ignorance. That is not oversimplification. That is survival. Marcus was honest about his privilege too. He had no dependents, no medical debt, no criminal record, things that make financial recovery infinitely harder. He acknowledged that. He used his platform to amplify voices of veterans who faced bigger obstacles. He did not pretend to have all the answers. The nonprofit that hired him eventually offered him a full-time director position, $65,000 per year, benefits, retirement matching, everything he never had before. Marcus accepted, but he kept his platform independent, kept it free, kept it accessible. He did not want it tied to any organization that might compromise the message. He reinvested most of his income back into the platform, hired formerly homeless veterans to help run it, gave them jobs, gave them purpose, gave them the same chance someone gave him. Sargent got older. His orange fur started turning white around the muzzle. He slowed down, slept more, but he still woke Marcus up at 5:45 every morning, still sat on his desk, still purred when Marcus needed comfort. 3 years after moving into that first apartment, Marcus bought a small house, 2 bedrooms, fenced yard. He adopted another cat, a senior female from a shelter, named her Captain. Sargent loved her. They would sleep curled up together. Marcus would watch them and think about how far he had come, from a Walmart parking lot to a home, from $283 to financial stability, from isolation to community. He never forgot where he started. He kept a photo on his wall, a selfie he took in the truck with Sargent on his shoulder, both of them looking exhausted, both of them surviving. He looked at it every single day, a reminder that rock bottom is not the end. It is just the place where you stop digging and start climbing. People ask Marcus all the time what the financial loophole was. They expect some secret strategy, some hack that unlocks wealth. And Marcus always tells them the truth. There was no loophole. There was just awareness. The so-called loophole was simply this: stop letting other people control your money without your knowledge. Read the fine print. Question every fee. Cancel what you do not use. Claim what you are owed. It sounds boring. It sounds obvious. But most people do not do it. They trust that systems are fair, that companies will be transparent, that if something was wrong, someone would tell them. Marcus learned the hard way that none of that is true. The system is not designed to help you. It is designed to extract from you. And the only person who will protect your money is you. Marcus still lives modestly. He could afford more now. But he does not want more. He wants security. He wants purpose. He wants to wake up every day and know that his work matters. That is worth more than any salary. Sargent passed away last year, 14 years old, kidney failure. Marcus held him at the vet while they gave him the final injection. He whispered, "Thank you one more time. Thank you for saving my life." Because that is what Sergeant did, not by knocking over a receipt, but by giving Marcus a reason to keep going. When everything felt impossible, Captain is still here, and Marcus adopted 2 more cats after Sergeant passed. All seniors, all from shelters. He says he owes it to them. They saved him. Now he saves them. So was Marcus wrong to build a whole movement on the back of a $4 fee? Was he overselling the importance of small financial decisions? Some people think so. They say systemic poverty requires systemic solutions. That individual responsibility rhetoric lets corporations and governments off the hook. And maybe they are right. Maybe Marcus should be angrier at the systems instead of teaching people how to navigate them. But Marcus sees it differently. He thinks you can do both. You can fight for policy change and teach people how to survive right now. You can criticize predatory banking and help someone cancel a subscription they forgot about. Those things are not mutually exclusive. They are both necessary. Here's what nobody talks about. Marcus still struggles sometimes. He still has months where unexpected expenses wipe out his budget. He still feels anxiety when he checks his bank account. Trauma does not disappear just because your circumstances improve. But he has tools now. He has knowledge, he has a community, and he has proof that things can change. Not because of luck, not because of a loophole, but because he paid attention, because he refused to accept that struggling was just his permanent reality. That is the message. That is the thing worth sharing. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You just need to see what is actually happening, and then you need to do something about it. Marcus does not know if he made the right choices. He does not know if quitting his stable job was smart. He does not know if his platform will last. But he knows this. He is not living in a truck anymore. He is not losing money to things he cannot see. He is not alone, and thousands of other people can say the same thing because he decided to share what he learned. Maybe that is enough. Maybe that is everything. Drop a comment and tell me. If you found a hidden fee in your account right now, would you fight to get it back? Or would you let it go because it is too small to matter? Marcus would tell you that nothing is too small to matter, because small things add up. And sometimes, the smallest thing is the thing that changes everything.